So friends, continuing with the series on constitutional development, today we are going to talk about Act of 1858, right? So this was the first act that was passed after the revolt of 1857. So we need to understand in that background, right? So this act is very important for pre. To some extent, yes, there is a possibility that a question in mains can be asked, but then there is a bigger possibility that more questions are asked in an integrated manner, that what administrative changes took place after the revolt, and this act will be just a part of it. So keeping that in mind, let's try understand the important provisions. Number one, the most important thing, it is called Act for Good Government of India, right? Now we have in paper 2 governance, and we understand better the idea of good governance. Let's relate it with the modern idea of good governance. See, now what will happen is, instead of East India Company and its dual administration under the garb of which was continuing from Pitt's India Act as the Board of Directors and the Board of Control. Now this dual government will come to an end. A new position is created. The position is of Secretary of State, right? Secretary of State. Earl Stanley was the first Secretary of State. Now that a Secretary of State has been appointed, who is this Secretary of State? He will be a minister in the English Council of Ministers, British Council of Ministers, Minister for Indian Affairs, right? So he is a Minister for Indian Affairs. Now this minister is part of the British Cabinet. And the British Cabinet, as it is in a parliamentary system, the very basic Westminster model of Britain, a minister is responsible to the House of, like the House of Commons, and this minister who is responsible to the House of Commons is answerable to the opposition party as well. So in that case, now there is accountability. Whatsoever is happening in India will be discussed in Parliament in details. There will be transparency, that what exactly is happening in India and what kind of administration Britain is providing to India and Indians. So in this sense, it was also called Act for Good Governance of India, right? Now to assist the Secretary of State, there will be a 15 members India Council, and the office will be India Office. And all the expenses of this office will be borne by India. This will be then called a part of the drain of wealth as well, right? Besides this, the Governor General of India, who happened to be Lord Canning, Lord Dalhousie 1856 में चले गए और 1856 में ही Lord Canning आ गए थे. So before revolt, he was Governor General of India. Now that he has managed the affairs, and after when the revolt was crushed, many of the British officers asked Lord Canning, the Governor General, to punish Indians very ruthlessly, but he declined, and instead he said, like, Indians should be given some kind of clemency for this, and thus by the press of that age, he was popularized by the name of Clemency Canning as well. This is a specific information for Clemency Canning, right? Now Governor General got additional charge of Viceroy, right? So many of the guides say that Governor General before the revolt became Viceroy after the revolt, and that means there was no Governor General after the revolt. This is a wrong idea. What exactly has happened is, now there will be a twin responsibility for a same person. See, I am Lord Canning, I am your Governor General before the revolt. After revolt, I continue to be your Governor General, but at the same time, now I have one more responsibility, the responsibility of being Viceroy. Now understand this in a different way. If this is India, the circled part is British controlled India. Let's say this is Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras, Governor of Calcutta, and Lieutenant Governor at Punjab. So this is British part. So here the boss is Governor General of India. The remaining dots, these are the princely states who have not been directly conquered by the British, but are under the control of British. For these Indian princely states, the same person who is Governor General, that means Lord Canning, will also act as Viceroy. The Governor General will be accountable to the Secretary of State for all his acts, while in the capacity of Viceroy, he will be directly answering to the Crown and not to the Secretary of State. So these were the major changes brought by the Act of 1858. Thank you very much. Best of luck.